Come on in the room. Box. Lose it again. 139, 122. It's becoming a trend. The Bucks lose again. 139, 122. Philadelphia 76ers get a dub over your Milwaukee Bucks on the cock. On the cock tonight. Come on in the room. Shit. No, yeah. Like I said, I think it'll be a long time before we do the doc stuff. So I'm about to work on a new intro because this ain't gonna work. But we are live. Creeps across the cruiser.
Chris King.
Justin.
Yeah. Here we go in the building tonight. Everybody's in the building. It's been a minute since we were on. Well, because the Bucks didn't play on Sunday due to the Bucks play Sunday because Dallas couldn't get out, all the storms or what have you, and then so that game was postponed. So when we were on last, what was that, Friday? Was that Friday night? I guess that was Friday night when Giannis gets hurt, and then now Bucks lose it tonight on a Tuesday. Things are getting rough in Milwaukee. Come on in the room. We'll talk to you on the Twitter at TCIIIYEEE. Come in the room. We'll talk to you in the chat as well. Let's start off with a super chat. James Morris says, hit the like button before you come in. Before you sit your ass down, hit that like button. William Arraign, starting off with a super chat, says, why did I have to sit here and watch Sims minutes? What does he do that possibly gets him playing time over Pete Nance? I agree. I agree. Sims initially was in the rotation prior to I guess when the season started. He was that backup center, if you will, after, I guess we're not the back, but after Turner, then Giannis goes down, and Sims was really getting into the rotation, getting some minutes, and he just hadn't shown the ability to do anything outside of run and jump. Like he's an athlete, can't really grab the ball, can't score. He seems to have regressed a little bit. He really does seem to have regressed a little bit since we're a little more excited about him playing. And Pete Nance, but again, I'll say this though, William. Pete Nance he's just a new kid on the block. Listen, I like Pete Nance. I hope he plays well. I hope he can do something. How old is Pete Nance? I don't know. I know he's in the G League cooking up. He's just a new kid on the block. Chris Livingston, Tyler Smith, Marjan, Beauchamp, DJ. What's the man's name? That was trash. The
DJ Wilson.
Who?
DJ Wilson.
He's just again. I don't know. Jericho Sims. Remember we were all excited about Jericho Sims. I don't know. To me, he's probably just going to end up being another guy that everybody gets excited about for a little bit. And then you realize, he's probably not that good. That's all, at the end of the day, he's probably not going to be all that good. Again, he can shoot the ball a little bit, stretch four, if you will. But can he give you real serviceable rotation minutes at the four? Probably not. So, if you just want to see a younger player get out there and hoop a little bit, listen, I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying I don't know that Pete Nance is gonna provide anything for you. But 139, 122, let's get into it. A game recap tonight. Myles Turner was the high man, 31 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal for him, 10 of 16, 4 of 8 from the 3. Did an excellent job tonight shooting the basketball. Could have rebounded a little bit better, but he didn't. But he shot the ball well, and you got to give Myles Turner credit when he's doing that. Bobby Portis, 17, 12, and 8. Again, we could go on about his defense, but I thought Bobby was okay tonight. Offensively, grab rebounds. Kyle Kuzma, 17, 8 and 8, 2 steals, 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. He was a -5. Kuz was primary responsibility on Paul George. You saw what Paul George did tonight. Again, I don't know how much of that is. I think Paul just hit 9 threes. He had 9 threes tonight. So it wasn't like Paul George was like dribble drive cooking. It was just, he was on a heater. He was on a heater. So I guess if Kuz could have anything, you got to run him off 3-point line a little better. You got to be quicker to the off ball when you're getting off screens. But PG was was vintage Paul George tonight. AJ Green, the only starter not to get in double digits, and again, you have to. Again, I get it. Giannis gravity is what really works with AJ, but you have to start questioning. You have to start questioning just a little bit. That the contract that he got. I try not to. I try to keep everything in a vacuum, but everybody else is able to get off tonight. Everybody else, 17 from Kuz, 17 from Bobby, 31 from Turner, 24 from Rollins, 13 from Trent. I got 6 guys in double digits. And AJ Green gives 30 minutes, 8 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. Rollins tonight, 24, 8 and 4. 2 blocks for Rollins. Had some really nice play. Thought his first half was excellent. Cooled down a little bit in the second half. Thought Kuz has some opportunities to get Rollins the ball a little bit in transition and even into the offense. Didn't happen for him. Let's see, what did he shoot? 9 of 17. He was over 50%. I think he led the way, took the most shots on the team. So that's Ryan Rollins' first option hoops there. Gary Harris doesn't score. Gary Trent Jr. 13 points tonight. Didn't do anything else but score the basketball. 4-9 from the 3. No rebounds, no assists, no steals. Cole Anthony with 10 points. Jericho, like I said, played 10 minutes, didn't do anything. And then you had the bench squad come in for the last couple minutes there. Philly, Embiid was dominant tonight, 29, 9 and 5. Paul George, 32, 5 and 5. Kelly Oubre with 7. Tyrese Maxey, 22 and 9. VJ Edgecombe kind of does a little bit of everything, 12, 8 and 7. And he had Jerry McCain hit 5 threes, hit 6 threes tonight, 17 points. And then Bona had 6 and 8 for Philadelphia. I mean, listen, if you're trying to figure this thing out and you want to give yourself if you want to give some solace to this performance, the Bucks were in this thing. They absolutely were. They were in the basketball game. You put up 122 points. You can't get stops. That's the difference, right? This team cannot get stops, and when they do get stops, they cannot get the rebounds. They just can't get the they can't do it. And again, I'll just show you. It's a math game. You lose by what's the 17? You lose by 17 points. Look at this. Here's the game. Here's the game. You get out rebounded 46-38. And from a math standpoint, the Bucks shoot 51% from the field. They shoot 44% from 3. But here it is. The Bucks took 86 shots tonight. Philly took 101. The Philadelphia 76ers took 15 more shots. If you it's math. At some point, it's a math equation. And if another team takes 15 more shots, you lose the math game because you can't rebound, because you don't get second chance opportunities, because you turn the ball over. The other team gets more shot attempts than you do, even if you shoot 50% from the field, which is great. Bucks shot 50% from the field. That's great. But you allow a high percentage, and then you give up 15 more shot opportunities. You're going to lose every single time. Oh, and then by the way, Giannis isn't out there, and you miss 8 free throws. So yeah, that's how you lose a basketball game. Again, I thought offensively, I thought the ball was popping. They showed a graphic on Peacock where all the point differentials numbers going up for everybody when Giannis is out. Obviously, somebody's got to score. But it just goes to show you the Bucks. I mean, they're able to shoot. They're able to get buckets without Giannis on the floor. Just cannot get stops. That's been a story this season. The game to me, JT, was lost. That third quarter, Bucks tied it up. They were down 8-10 to 13 in the first half throughout the half. Again, it scored 60 points in half, finished down 11 or whatever it was. And the game was lost in that third quarter, where in halfway through the third, you got it to you would stand a Paul George run. You get it. You tie the game up. I believe they tied it up. And Paul George then goes on another run to end the third. And you end the third down 9, down, whatever it was. I think, let me see this. You end the third. Yeah, you had a great third quarter. You scored 33 points, and Philly got 35. So it was a great third, but you still end up down -2 on the scoreboard. And I thought that was where the game was lost. But again, I'm not upset. You come into these games thinking about how it's going to go. There's no Giannis. Giannis is going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. No timetable for his return. We'll talk about the no timetable for his return. Reggie Miller alluded to it. Do you shut him down? What do you do? So we'll get into all that. But again, you come into these games, and I can't be upset because you understand you're 10-point dogs. So yeah, you were supposed to come in and lose to a Philly team. You did. I thought they fought pretty hard. I don't, I'm not holding my head at this loss. It's not a good basketball team, and you went out and lost by 17 tonight. That's what I saw.
Man, so to your point about the rebounds, take it a step further. I thought you were going to touch on this. You talk about how many shots the Bucks had versus how many shots the 76ers had. Well, look at the rebounding battle. When you really break down these numbers, I mean, it is appalling. The diet for us, we've had this problem all year. Offensive rebounds. We cannot get second chance points. Tonight, believe it or not, if you look at the rebounds they had 46 rebounds, we had 38. We had 30 defensive rebounds, they had 31. But look at the difference in the offensive rebounds. They had double the offensive rebounds that we did, right? Roughly. We had 8, they had 15. So you factor all that into the shots. Well, there you go, right? There's your ball game. But I look at this, I kind of feel like there's some good to take out of it, and that's the fact that everybody – what I talk about is doing things in the aggregate. Look at how many players chipped in and made an impact tonight and did their part. And this is what you're going to need to try to string together this. No Giannis and no KPJ. From Cole Anthony to Kyle Kuzma's second half explosion, we had like 13 points in the second half. Myles Turner having 17 in the first half and 12 after that first quarter. That's what you need to see. Myles Turner, again, tonight, we're not going to have no Moesha. It is Miles Morales at the worst. He is Myles Turner. And this is what I like, the fact that he tried to put the team on his back. I thought that was important, and he got it done from the perspective of stepping up. I certainly thought, really proud of the way he played tonight. Same thing with Ryan Rollins. This is a night we need to see Ryan Rollins have a night like this because it's been a little iffy lately. But if this team is going to win games, I think somebody said somewhere that the over/under is on, I think, 29 wins for the Bucks now. If they're going to even hit that number, get anywhere close, you're going to need Myles Turner. You're going to need Ryan Rollins. How about Gary Trent? You're going to need Gary Trent to chip in. You're going to need Kyle Kuzma to keep doing his thing offensively. You are going to need more from A.J. Green. But, I thought that was a good thing, Bobby. The way the team tried to step at numerous different guys. We have 6 guys in double figures tonight, I think. Numerous different guys stepping up, doing what it is they can. And, yeah, look, you missed GA. Rebounding, defense, all of that. But, I mean, what can you do at this point? But kind of what they did do was seeing different kind of just a number of different guys trying to hit shots, trying to keep this thing competitive. And in that first half, look, we went at halftime. We were only down, 9 or something like that in the first half. And I was a bit surprised, but I was a little bit encouraged by it. So maybe we can build some momentum on it, and guys can start putting together consistent performances, and maybe we can steal a few in the next week.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if I think that that's the direction this team will head in at all. Just watching this game, I mean, it was just very apparent to me, as much as we talked about how Giannis looked like he was playing hurt and stuff like that, you really just miss having an interior presence at all. Like when Myles Turner goes off the floor, you're running a smaller, I would say, front court out there. And Philly's running a small ball lineup too, and they run down the floor and they get in the paint any which way at any point they want. And and defensively we suck too. So on the perimeter we suck. They just walk into open shots. It's not sustainable for this group, I don't think. And that was my big takeaway. Like 31 for Myles, I loved it. I love seeing him get active offensively. Don't know how much that's going to come around. And then, just Ryan Rollins being up and down, Cole Anthony, that backcourt as a whole being up and down. It's hard to look at this team and say, yeah, we're gonna really make a push here when Giannis is out for, especially with no timetable. So it's a tough realization to come to, but you look at it and you're just kind of like, I don't know. This team has – look, remember, this Philly team is not good either. Like, they're really not. So to go out there and still I mean, yeah, congrats. We put up a fight, but no defense was played. You're not going to win that game. And so that was probably my biggest takeaway from that game.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened with Doc tonight. I don't know if they didn't get him on the thing or whatever, but he never came to the microphone. So what I saw a lot of missed opportunities. We had a couple times where we had layups that we missed from Portis, from Rollins, from Kuzma, from AJ Green, and those led to wide open threes from the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's just something we got to clean up, though. You all mentioned the rebounding. One of the rebounds that really stuck out to me was the missed one on the free throw line that, again, led to a wide open three. We're going to have to clean up some of this small stuff. I saw great basketball from Myles Turner tonight. I saw him say that I'm the guy on the floor that has to be Superman tonight, and he did everything he possibly could do. Saw 3-level score tonight. We haven't seen that from Myles since he was in Indiana. Great basketball game. And then, yeah, AJ Green, he didn't get the three-pointers off the way that he did, but I did see a lot of good cutting from him. Missed a couple layups, but at least he's cutting and trying to move off the ball and find a way to get it. Gary Trent Jr. showed some signs of life tonight. Still a little bit of ways to go to get back. This is probably Sim's worst game as a Milwaukee Buck, though. I don't know if he was just excited to be back on the floor. A lot of just no pressure turnovers, throwing the ball into the crowd and stuff like that. But he'll get better than that. The biggest thing I see is that we got to beat the Washington Wizards, though. And you see a huge difference from last night to tonight from the Philadelphia 76ers. Yesterday afternoon, they got cooked by the Charlotte Hornets I think they were going into the third quarter losing by 50 points. But that's without Embiid and without Paul George playing. So I think Reggie Miller mentioned it, or maybe it was Carmelo that mentioned it. After Martin Luther King day, this is where teams start going. I think this Philadelphia 76ers team is geared solely for the playoffs, and they're going to hang around that 6, 7, 5 seed, and they're just going to try to get in there, and then they're going to let that wisdom go and take over. And I saw a lot of people really upset about what Doc Rivers said as far as Joel Embiid being the most talented player he ever coached. Am I upset at that? Not really. I mean, Joel Embiid is super talented. You saw that tonight. Some of his shot creation, the behind the back, pull back hezzy that he hit over Myles Turner. Just an amazing basketball player. It's just the host stuff that bothers me. He's always doing some host shit, rolling on the ground, flopping all over the place, trying to get a foul. I mean, I saw the dude get blocked by Ryan Rollins today on the break. You just can't have that stuff. So, but I see why Doc said it. And, he didn't say he was the best player. He just said the most talented.
I agree. I saw that too. Let me get this super chat from Dustin Wagner. Dustin says, if we keep Giannis, we need to trade for half-court offensive upgrades. I just really didn't. I didn't see off. I don't see offense as the issue, honestly. And I didn't see it tonight. I just don't see offense as the issue. These teams can't get rebounds. Like, you need hard-nosed guys that can do that. Again, you could try to outscore everybody, but if it don't matter who you get. If opposing teams are going to, and again, Giannis wasn't in tonight, but this has been a problem even when he's played to some. But if opposing teams are going to shoot 10 more times than you, 10 plus more times, you're going to lose the math. You're going to lose the game. And then he says, if we trade Giannis, we need to develop the downhill potential of Rollins. I think when you talk about Rollins and what you're looking to develop right now, and again, number one, because it's so funny that we've gotten into this battle now. At least let me say I've gotten into this battle somewhat online because the KPJ Rollins, because again, people didn't like KPJ because he, did some things off the court. And, because he did that, you have a bunch of people who start lying about what he does on the court. And so I felt like I had to keep defending KPJ. But again, if you defend KPJ online, you all of a sudden, that means you hate Rollins. It's just so crazy because I remember specifically on this program last year, myself, Chris King too, everybody like, hey, we play Rollins. Like, Rollins you got to play. We were begging for Rollins to play. And so again, that's just funny to me. But my point about Rollins is what he has not yet defeated are the allegations. And the allegations I'm talking about for Rollins is the allegations of, are you legit? Are you a legit player, or are you what we call a good player on bad team? And that's what I got to figure out about Rollins, because there are a lot of guys who are good. Because again, look across the board, they showed the graphic. Everybody has better numbers when Giannis isn't there, scoring wise. So everybody, Kuz scores 11 with Giannis. 14, he's at 14 or something without Giannis. Turner is at whatever, like 12, like I think he's like 10 or 11 with Giannis. He's 15 without Giannis. Rollins, same way. Without all of them score 4 to 5 points more. So we understand that. We got to figure out about Rollins. Are you actually are you good with when you're not the first? Because tonight your first option. So you get 17 shots. You get to do what you want to do. Nobody's taking shots away from you. You can dictate the flow. You can take any shot you want on the court at any given time. When Giannis is there, and this is some of maybe Dame's issue, I don't know. You have to kind of figure that out, that pace, that space. What does that look like? And sometimes you get passive and tentative, and you're not as aggressive. And figuring out when you can go versus when you don't go. Like again, two examples I always go back to. Michael Carter-Williams, very good player in Philadelphia as a rookie of the year. He was good player on bad team. When he got to any other team, we figured out he really wasn't that good. Jahlil Okafor, good player, bad team. Tyreek Evans, good player, bad team. So are you a good player on a bad team? Because this iteration of the Bucks, I believe without Giannis, they're now 3-12. Is that correct? So they're 15. They're 3-12 without Giannis, and that's majority of the time when Rollins has cooked. So that's what I'm trying to figure out about Rollins. Are you good? Because again, good players are good all the time. Good player. Paul George is out there with, again, I know when Max is out there with Embiid, he can cook. With Maxey by himself, he cooking. Put Embiid, George in line. Max is gonna cook. It don't matter who's on the court with him. That's what we got to figure out about Rollins. Because when Giannis was on the court, he wasn't as effective, and that's what I want to figure out. Good comment there from Dustin though. Okay.
Well, no. I mean, I guess I can expand on it too. It's just like you see his game open up a little bit without Giannis, and you made that point, but I think it's true, particularly with the ball in his hands, right? You see him more downhill. You see him, he doesn't always have that bailout to just toss it up to Giannis when Giannis is in the lineup. And even sometimes he gets stuck in this, I'm going to just stand in the corner on this possession or stand at the perimeter on this possession, and it doesn't really unlock who he can truly be. But then there's also the concerns of, okay, he's not that great at handling the ball. So how much do you want of that, right? Like how much do you want of him, taking that role that kind of KPJ has of let's do a pick and roll with Myles, pick and roll with Giannis and see what we can do with the ball in our hands. Because when he does have that lead role, it seems like the turnovers have become a little bit of an issue for him.
You see the court vision improving with them, though. And I mean, I think that one thing we got to remember is Rollins is still young. I mean, this is a dude that was cast away from the Washington Wizards a couple seasons ago. Our terrible GM found a way to get that guy onto the team, and now he's producing in a pivotal role. I see a lot of good things from Rollins, and I think he's going to continue to mature into the player that we want him to be. However, maybe it's not Rollins that needs to adjust his game. Maybe it's Giannis. Because maybe he should let Rollins run the show a little bit more, because Bobby Portis still got his shot. Turner still got his shots. AJ Green, the entire five on the floor with Rollins got his shots plus Rollins. So maybe if Giannis was, and the ball movement was a lot better tonight. I mentioned AJ Green cutting. Maybe if we put Giannis in some of those cutting positions, that's going to get him easier buckets, free him up, get his confidence going, and then the entire offense can go downhill after that.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good point. Again, but Giannis is Giannis, and Giannis has told everybody that listen that he thinks, he is, he believes that he should have the ball in his hands, and he wants to run the show. So again, talking about Doc Rivers had KPJ doing some of that, but that's neither here nor there at this point about whether you have a point guard. Dame was here. And that didn't seem to work either. Sometimes to ask the Dame bros, Dame was standing in the corner. But I want to go back to a point you made though, Justin, when you talked about, this is kind of on top, but you talked about Philly and what kind of team they are. And I do want to give respect to the 76ers. Here's my issue with Philly and what they're doing this year. I think that they are a team. You said they're lean. They're kind of where the Bucks were. Where you just got to get to the playoffs and then lean on your guys, your best players when you get there. Your issue, they're gonna have the same issue the Bucks have, which is injuries. And I think if they're all coming in healthy, Max is gonna be healthy. But if Paul George and Embiid are healthy, yeah, I think it's a team that you don't necessarily want to face, especially in the weak East. Like I think the Knicks are in a dogfight with Philly, Cleveland dogfight, with Orlando dogfight, Toronto dog. Like these are all dogfight kind of series in Philadelphia 76ers. But what I believe will likely happen is Embiid will break down at some point. It happens every year. And so every single year, Embiid will probably break down, and that's going to be their demise. I'm not being funny. I'm just saying it's kind of how it goes.
Well, you gotta worry about the way Nick Nurse is using him, though, because playing him for 12 minutes straight in the first quarter. I know he's cooking, but this is a regular season game against an undermanned team that you should be. I mean, Vegas said it. You're 10 points better than. So I was a little bit shocked by that, but he has moments of brilliance where he looks like a true MVP, and then he has those moments where he wants to do that other goofy stuff he does. And I mean, that's why he frustrates me, man. But you got to worry about those role players too with Edgecombe and those other guys, man. If they can shoot, and McCain looked like he was starting to come to life a little bit more tonight. So that team could be really scary once we get to April and potentially May, depending on how far they go. Or they could be one and done.
You're going to tell me that something is going to be different than what we've seen over the last, how long has it been in the league? 8 years, something like that?
Yeah.
So, and there's two things that are consistent about Joel Embiid. Yes, he got an MVP out of that. One is that he's going to be on the floor one way or another. I don't know how that works, right? The big and somehow he's just going to be on the floor and it's not doing dirty work. It's falling, trip, whatever that is. The second thing is he's not going to be available a full season. You know that. The question is when does the extended absence come? That's the only question you're asking here. When does the extended absence come? And it's already been there too. But I would bet you, I would be over the next couple of months, there's going to be an extended absence for Joel Embiid. It's going to, is it going to be 3 weeks? Is it going to be 4 weeks? I don't know. But that injury's coming. Having said that, they are a very talented team. They are. The 76ers have been, they really, quite honestly, probably the last 3 foot have been incredibly underachieving. One of the biggest underachievers in the NBA, and that goes back to pre-Nick. I mean, Doc, they just have. And maybe they figure it out because from a potential and talent wise, they could be very, very good this year. But again, believe it when I see it because Embiid 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, there could be another injury.
What they say? Shedeur Sanders made a Pro Bowl before the Sixers made it out the second round. All right, let me ask a couple questions that we can get ourselves up out of here. Let me see what the chat says. Solomon J. Wells says Rollins has reached his peak. Get value for him if he can. First person I see wants to trade Rollins. Young City 4241 says Bucks should have got Westbrook at the offseason. Come on now. In Fascist says he's naturally progressing the fast. I think he's talking about Rollins there. I think I saw somebody say that the Bucks passed Embiid for Jabari Parker. I mean, yeah, because Jabari went 2. Did Embiid go 3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but he's had his fair share of injuries too, so he wouldn't have helped you. I get. I mean, they both were injured players. Yeah, one in Peak is a little better. Well, I say a little better. His Peak is much better than Jabari Parker's, but they were. Jabari would have been really, really good. Jabari would have been really, really good. I don't know if he had been MVP level good. Jabari would have been a great NBA player. Again, his comp was Melo. I think it was a good comp. He's probably a little more explosive than Melo, but Jabari would have been a really, really good pro if he could have stayed healthy. So again, but you're right though. If Embiid, but see the difference is Embiid came into it with it because Jabari didn't come into the league with injury history. Did he tear his ACL in high school?
It may have been high school, but he only had the one and done at Duke.
Yeah.
But Embiid he missed 90% of that season with Kansas. Right. And, I mean, you can't predict that. But Jabari was probably the most athletic player I've seen in a Milwaukee Buck uniform. You could put him up there with your Darvin Hams, with your Desmond Masons, with, anybody that you could see that could jump out of the gym. He had a great mid-range game. He could shoot the three. Jabari was a great player, just so unfortunate he got hurt. And that's what scares me about trading anybody for a bunch of picks, whether you get the number 1 pick or the 31st pick. It doesn't make a difference. It's things that just happen. Injuries happen. Guys clunk out. Look at our lottery pick. So, sorry, I might have preluded that a little bit.
Yeah, no, but it is it is interesting when you think about that and you go back to it, because I saw a highlight clip the other day of Jabari Parker, and man, somebody posted on Twitter. When he was healthy, man, he was jumping out of the gym. He has a great first explosive step. He would have been real good. Couple questions, and then we can start to get up out of here and get to some other things. I wanted to ask you guys. Ask a little bit about Rollins, but I wanted to ask you guys, where we are in the season. 37 games left in the year. A couple questions. Are the Bucks, and we've had more time to hear things. We know Giannis is going to be out. Reggie Miller, and so I'll ask it kind of all in the vacuum. You can answer kind of however you want to. Reggie Miller on the broadcast was essentially asking, do you shut Giannis down for the year? 37 games left. You're probably, I believe now, you might be in a tie now with Charlotte for where they are. Let me check the standings.
Should be a half game back.
Yeah, Charlotte actually is in 11. They're the same. Both teams are 15.5 games back at first, 3.5 games out of the play-in. Charlotte is actually, I guess there's a tiebreaker. They are in 11th. The Bucks are 12th. So you are now behind the Charlotte Hornets. You're getting to the point where, and not only that, Charlotte is going this way. The Bucks are going that way. Bucks are 3-7 in their last 10. Charlotte 6-4 in their last 10. The Bucks have lost 3 games in a row. The Charlotte Hornets have won 3 games in a row. By the way, the team in front of them, the Atlanta Hawks, have won 3 games in a row. The Bucks were right. Remember, they just beat the Hawks on MLK Day. They were a half game out of 10th for the last play-in spot, and both teams have gone the opposite directions since that point. Here's my question, and again, if that's how this thing is going to play out. One, if Giannis is back in February, if you're out of playoff contention, do you say screw it and rest him and not bring him back? Is that, so I guess it'll be like 4 or 5 questions. Does that mean this is Giannis' last game he's ever played as a Buck? Are you trading Giannis at the deadline? Are you waiting till the off season, or in the alternative, you could, and this has been, again, you don't know what's true, what's not true. You could, I'm surprised I haven't seen it in the chat yet. You could try to get a Ja Morant, bring him in, salvage and do whatever. You could try a number of different things here to get yourself back and continue. Here's the thing: if you're gonna do it, you'd have to do it like damn near now. Like you really, it's 37 games left. You really don't have the time to wait. What are we still a week and a half? How far? What today's the 27th. The deadline, you're still a week and a couple days out from the deadline. You're really, I don't know how many more games the Bucks have during that time frame. You really don't have a lot of time. Are you fire selling? Like, what are you? That was a lot of questions in there, but the Bucks have a lot of questions. What are you doing in this time period? And then 2, are you shutting Giannis down if this thing, or because you could stand pat and say, you know what, let's tank and we're done and we'll get our pick. We'll have a nice pick in the draft, or we'll have 3 picks that we can potentially trade and try and do something with Giannis at the end of the year and bring somebody in for you. There are not, like, the Bucks are in an interesting situation where they have a lot at their disposal that they can do, and there are a lot of options where they can go. I will tell you, like I said, if you stay where you are right now, you're not making the playoffs like this. You're not. I'm saying with this current iteration of the roster, it's not gonna magically turn around and you're gonna start winning games. I think that's done. So you're either going to do something or do nothing and accept your fate. Or you could blow it all up. And what is the route? What are you doing and why? And then where are you going there? Anybody?
So I think there's a couple things. The first thing is now you got a lot of time to have these talks with Giannis to kind of figure out what it is that you want at this point. I think we all know how this is going to go if he doesn't come back. So the question you ask is, what is it that you want? Right, Giannis, there's no decision to make at the end of the season if this thing is cooked, especially over this next 6 weeks. We kind of know. I think we already know we're likely going to be out of playoff contention if he's out 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. I know it's indefinite. From what I read, I saw 4 to 6 weeks, and I saw, well, they haven't put an official timetable on it. But the first question is, what do you want? Do you want to get traded in the offseason? Is this a thing? Do you, you got to have this conversation. No dancing around, no nothing.
Well, here's the thing. Ty. I'm making, because I know you like to kind of play the fit. I'm gonna be honest for you, so we can get a straight answer out of you. He's not. I'm gonna tell you, he's not gonna give you a direct answer. What he's gonna do? He's not gonna give you a direct answer. Again, we already know he doesn't want to be looked at as the guy who asked out of Milwaukee. So what he's gonna, I'm gonna give you the scenario. What he's gonna do is say it, because again, remember, he can get the Supermax in October. And then because he can essentially walk for nothing if he plays the next year and doesn't. And I doubt the Bucks want to do that. So what he could do is say, you could ask him, "Hey, are you gonna sign a Supermax?" And he'd be like, "Man, I don't know." And is that your answer right there? That if you say, "I got a Supermax in front of you, October the 1st, or whenever you can offer it," I believe it's October 1st or whatever, and he says no, or he says, "I don't know, I got to evaluate." That's what it sounds like he's giving you right now.
Oh, you're playing. You're playing.
So knowing that, how do you do? What do you do?
Get your ass out there. The moment you were cleared, get your ass. If we don't play these, listen. If you want to play funny games, I'm gonna play funny games with you. Your team is losing. I'm not shutting you down. Why the hell would I shut you down if I think you're done where I'm at? The other thing is, you got this injury. Yeah, I want to see you come back a little bit too, because if we're gonna have a trade market for you and it's gonna be robust in the offseason, I want everybody to remember you playing. I don't want everybody to go, "Oh, he ain't played since February. What's going on with this guy?" I don't know how much of a factor that will be, but no, get your ass out there then. Fine. If it's a situation you're like, "Nah, yeah, I'm in. Okay, you want me to go get John Morant? You want to do this? Let's talk about these more moves in the offseason." Is the plan to eventually sign? Is the plan to eventually sign an extension? Okay, great. Or more likely than not, whatever that is, all right, let's make this thing happen. You're gonna be a piece here. This is what we're gonna do, right? But if you wishy-waffling and you waffling, why am I shutting you down for the rest of this year? Like, why I don't understand that. You better get out there because I'm still paying you. What am I gonna save you? What am I save you for if I don't think you're gonna be on this team in the near future? Like, no, absolutely not. I play him. And maybe if we're gonna shut you down, it might be for the last 10 games. Fine, let the younger guys play. But no, the moment you were cleared, if I'm not sold that you want to be a part of this long-term potential, this long-term you want to remain a member of the Bucks, get your ass out there and play. Absolutely. I'm not preserving nothing. And you know what? What would really get me going is if the Bucks shut him down for the rest of the year and he go over and play in Greece in August and July or whatever it is, and he does this Greece. Absolutely not. Get out there and play. Unless you were signing that extension in October and there's a long-term plan and we're making moves and you really want to be a part of this thing going forward.
I think the first step for me is work this deadline and don't try to make a big splash like a John Morant. Instead, make sure you're getting off of the guys that are cancerous to this team in terms of contract, like a Kuzma, somebody we could get rid of and get some more assets, like maybe a Bobby Portis, and maybe not assets, but maybe a young player that we could take a flyer on. I think that's what you're trying to do. I think you're trying to tank this season. I really do. I think you sit Giannis the rest of the year. I think you do whatever you can to get a high draft pick. That doesn't guarantee, but it allows a little margin for error for John Horst to not make a bad pick if you're in the top 3, if you're in the top 10 of the draft. And then you see what happens from there. You see if you can build a new whole team around Giannis and a team that could actually have some success when Giannis is not in the lineup. Look, I think what we've all realized is that without Giannis, this team is going nowhere. This team was built around Giannis, and it was built terribly to sustain any minutes without Giannis on the basketball court. So I think it needs a fresh restart. I think that starts with sitting Giannis the whole year and trying to get off some of the guys that are already on the team.
Yeah, so I look at it from a different lens. I think, first of all, if we miss the playoffs, John Horst is potentially gone anyways, right? So if you're telling me I'm fired, I'm going down with the guns a-blazing. I'm not just going to just take this and walk into the sunset and say, "Oh, I didn't make an effort." So that's why, even on the last show, I think that Horst is going to really try to wheel and deal. Because one thing about John, I think John is a great GM personally. And I think that he makes moves, he brings guys here, and somehow he turned Marjon Beauchamp into Kevin Porter Jr. So you got to hit on a trade like that if you do have to trade Kuz and Bobby, you got to get something coming back that can put the ball in the basket and defend the basketball as well. But I just look at it. It's 30-plus games left. I mean, the season of home court advantage, yeah, all that's done. Not being in the playoff, all that's done. But I don't think it's that unrealistic to think that we can't get into this 10th spot or this 9th spot. Nothing that Atlanta showed you that they can sustain this for the duration of the rest of these 30 games. Nothing that Chicago has shown you. They've both been up and down, multiple game losing streaks from both of them. So if you're the Bucks, you just got to find a way to get some effort. And the way the team played tonight, yeah, we lost to a heater to Paul George, and Joel Embiid went crazy in the first half. But that effort that team put out there tonight should be able to beat the Washington Wizards, the Indiana Pacers, a New Orleans Pelicans, teams like that. Are you going to beat the upper half of the either conference? Probably not. Win the games that you should win, and then you got to get a 50-50 flip with some of those other games, and who knows? But you're not going to shut him down, because I don't think he's going to just say, all right, knowing what we allegedly do know about him, he's not just going to say, oh, I'm not playing anymore. I'm not going to help this team win. Because I believe that he's the ultimate competitor, and his heart of heart feels that all I got to do is get to that 10 spot. I'll beat the 9 team. I'll beat the next 8 or 9, whatever loser that is next, and I will get into this playoffs, and we'll upset somebody and have a magical ride.
Well, you have to be mathematically in it to do that. And I don't know at what point that number is going to round to. But to your point, though, Justin, you say when I'll push back. When you say win the games that you're supposed to win, we're the team now that teams look at and go, we're the team people look at and go, we got more. Oh yeah, that's the team we supposed to beat them. We are no longer, it's the Bucks. And we're going to beat the Wizards, and we're going to beat the Hornets, and we're going to beat the bottom team. We're the bottom team in the league. The teams are that Philly who lost, I think they lost 3 or 4 coming in. They're like, oh, we got Milwaukee on the schedule. Let's go. Right? Like, we're the jump starting team now that people go, damn, we're having a tough time. Woo, good thing Milwaukee coming up. Now we can get us a win. And to your point about the effort, listen, offensively, we were humming. It was great. When I think effort, I go back to what we were talking about, JT, the rebound. That's the effort. When you talk about you got to have the effort. That's the – I don't think we lost. Did Paul George get a heater? Yes. Did Embiid have a great first half? Yes. But you lost because the other team took 15 more shots. You lost because you couldn't secure a rebound. Like, that's why you lost, in my opinion. So, again, and we've seen it. And it'll be – I think we got Washington coming. It'll be somebody else the next night that's the reason why you lost. But it'll be the same core reason because you didn't do the little things, because you didn't rebound, because you didn't defend, because you didn't defend the three-point line, because you didn't get on the floor for loose balls. Like that, that's what I see when I look at this team. Go ahead,
when I say beat the teams you're supposed to beat, I'm talking about the teams that are outwardly tanking right now. New Orleans is outwardly tanking. Okay. The Washington Wizards are outwardly tanking. Indiana outwardly taken. They want a top 5 pick. So that's what I'm saying, and beat those teams. But it's still all right in front of you to get into the 9 or 10. And you really, if it is truly about keeping Giannis, you have to do what Giannis wants to do. And I don't even really think, call me crazy, there's top 5 picks that are amazing, that are great in this draft. This draft is super deep. I'm looking at this kid, Zach Cleveland from Liberty. Great basketball player, passes the ball well, shoots the ball well. He's a Liberty. He's a mid-major basketball player, but you see a lot of Jason Kidd-esque, what Michael Carter-Williams, what everyone thought he was right now in the mid-major level. And you put that guy in there with Giannis, a pass-first guy that can knock down the shot, who knows? But, hey, man, it's a lot of good lottery. We missed on every lottery pick we've taken. Everyone we've taken.
But the approach. But my thing is the approach. It still comes down to what does Giannis want to do? What are we doing? Because I think I see people in chat and they're right. They're like, well, we could just tank, get the pick, and do that. But I mean, like you said, Justin, well, think about John Horst and Doc and everybody else. If they're all getting fired, they're not going to be a part of the rebuild. If they get to England, they're not going to be a part of the rebuild. They're not.
Well, for a second, but again, I think when they say, and again, there's another thought of tank for the picks, and again, you'll have 3 picks that you can trade. So when they say tank, and it'll be a good pick that you could then use to get a star, if you will. You have so when they say tank, I don't necessarily know that it means we want to make one pick. I think that could mean, all right, now I have 3 picks available to trade, and one of which should be 2031, which a lot of teams want that 2031 pick. And you can make that decision then about a potential star. I want to go back to Justice's point about John. He was talking about John Horst, and there's an article in the Milwaukee Journal from Lori Nickel, I believe. She wrote an article essentially asking, and I saw some people asking about Horst. Correct, he did not draft Giannis. That was John Hammond. Is he still? I believe he's still in Orlando. Maybe I don't know if he's not a GM in Orlando. Is he still? He's not the GM in Orlando anymore, is he? I think he moved to executive role. He's twiddling his thumbs, I think, making some money. But anyway, there was an article in the Journal. Lori Nickel wrote it, asking about basically the question, but summed up: where's John Horst? Why is he not answering questions? Why is, and this was probably, again, and we don't always see the Milwaukee media going at, the team and going at the organization. It's traditionally, I would say, a little softer. But Lori Nickel and the Journal, they go after John Horst. They ask why he hasn't faced some of these questions. They talk about some of the rumors, why other players on the team have answered the questions. And I guess my question to you guys, and I'll answer first, is do you think, is that a fair shot? Is that a fair assessment? Is that a fair question to ask why John Horst has not stepped up to the podium and had conversation and talk about what's going on this season? Listen, and again, I'm not, and again, I know a lot of people hate John Horst. I'm not one of them. I do think, I wouldn't say I think he's a very good GM to me, and I think he's done what he's had to do. I think his leash is definitely shorter now than it used to be. I think he's been handicapped by some from the organization. I think he's been handicapped some by Giannis and his agent, who have been doing back channel discussions, and he's having to do things to it. So he has a lot of hands in the cookie jar that he has to appease. Mark Gomes says he fired the head coach at 30 and 30. Not really. Giannis wanted, and number one, it wasn't, and again, as much as I like AG, AG wasn't his first pick. AG wasn't really his pick. And 2, Giannis basically got AG fired, and Giannis lost the buy-in, and that's when that thing went awry. But again, is it a fair question? Mark Gomes says, yeah, I think it's fair to ask, but I don't think, again, John Horst, he's not Jerry Jones. He don't come out and talk after every game. So I don't know why. That's never been his MO. He's a guy that again, think about the swing he made for Damian Lillard. Nobody saw it coming. Think about the swing he made when he waved and stretched Damian Lillard and got Myles Turner. Nobody, again, I get it hasn't worked out, but nobody saw it coming. So John Horst does a lot of things in the dark. He moves in the shadows. And so it really is, I guess my only thing is I get the question, but it's really not in his nature to come out and, yeah, let me give you an update on when is he ever, I just can't recall a time where he's come out and addressed in the middle of a season, the media. That's not something that he really does. So again, I get it. Fair question. And again, I think people are always looking to place some blame. And again, the people who get the blame for the Bucks in the organization, Jimmy Haslam, John Horst, KPJ, Kyle Kuzma. Those are you can always just blame those guys and you'll come up with something okay. But yeah, again, I will agree. It's a fair question to ask. I'm not again, if it was in his nature, I would say sure, but I think it's a tough ask. I think it's tough it's not something he does. He's the Bucks traditionally don't have a lot of leaks. That's John Horst. He doesn't do it. So the question again is, was it fair that they came after him, that the Journal came after him in their article?
I don't think so. I just feel like I don't feel like a lot of the stuff that Horst gets is pretty credited and fair. There's a lot of people, you see it all the time on Twitter, attacking this team that he built this year. You see him attacking the other teams. The Dante DiVincenzo for Serge Ibaka thing. All right, I can get down with that. Some of the trades he made weren't successful trades. totally understand that. Is every trade that every GM makes successful? No. However, it's not his fault that Gary Trent Jr. until tonight couldn't play basketball this year. It's not his fault these guys are all underperforming when you look at this roster. He put guys together, and if you saw Gary Trent Jr. in those playoffs last year, there's no way you would have thought you would have got this performance from that you've gotten so far this year. And then I don't want my GM talking to the media. I want him talking to other GMs trying to get this team better. I want him talking to the scouts to figure out if we are going to get a lottery pick, which lottery pick is going to be the best fit for this team. I want him working behind the scenes. I don't need you to have the limelight. What did what Suge say about Diddy? I don't need you dancing all in the video.
You know what though? So here's the thing: if the Bucks don't make any moves between now and next Thursday, I think that I 100% think you're gonna have to come out and speak. You're gonna everybody's gonna be wondering what is the plan? What are we doing, right? Or you know what? If you don't make any moves by next Thursday, I'm gonna be honest. That speaks volumes too. That really does. That tells you a lot. If you don't make any moves by next Thursday, that tells you that this team is comfortable riding this thing out for the rest of the season. And we're just pretty much tanking or what? Like, and I don't know. We're going to have wholesale changes in the offseason. I'm not really sure, but I think next Thursday is really when. If he doesn't speak now, he's going to have no choice but to speak next Thursday, either because he's made a trade or made numerous trades and, media's got questions, or because he has not. And I just, as a Bucks fan, I'm really hoping that he does not stand pat at the deadline, or that we do like maybe a Patrick Beverly type deal. Like, nah, man, you got to make some – I think you should make some moves here. Maybe they're not seismic, as Trey has indicated. Maybe you don't do that, but I think you certainly have got to do something.
I think it's fair to question why he hasn't really answered to the media, because it just goes to show, look, how many, just like you said, Trey, how many hands are in the cookie jar with this thing? Like, you even think back to at the beginning of this season where they took Amir Coffey over some young players. And I'm not even saying that, Amir Coffey's not better than Chris Livingston, but I mean, that is a question that needs to be asked to him. And maybe that's part of the reason why he's not answering, is because he doesn't have control as the GM, and that would be an issue. Look, it's just like, what is the plan? Exactly, JT, what is the plan? What's the plan with Doc Rivers? I mean, if you tank, he's going to have a below 500 record as the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks in his tenure. And then you've got everything else involved with that. You've got the firing of Adrian Griffin. You've got all these other moves that have taken place that you've just really kind of been missing for.
Yeah, I just don't see a way Doc Rivers comes back. I don't, whether Giannis is here or not, I just don't see a way.
This VP of basketball operations sounds like a logical move for Doc, maybe next or something like that, but there's absolutely no way he's a part of this thing moving forward, period. There's no way Doc Rivers is a part of the new vision for this Bucks team after this season.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. But I thought tonight, I thought he coached pretty well tonight. And I saw him getting after the refs and doing things. And this is probably one I know he lost by a bajillion, but this is one of his better coaching efforts of the year. He held the refs accountable. How many times we like, man, just get a tech? I mean, I think he tried. But, when you go back to Horst, there's a lot of things you look at, and this is all allegedly because, folks in the chat are saying he let Tucker go. He let this guy go. That's all if he's a sole proprietor making these moves like Chris just said, but we don't really know what moves he's making because, Trey, you got a lot more inside than – let me not piss off them Bucks people. But you got more inside, and allegedly the thing is when it came to DJ Wilson, it wasn't really him that made that pick. That was a very strong Jason Kidd pick. So when you look at stuff like that and you really can't draft who you want to draft or any of this stuff, I mean, I don't know. We got to get better, and it got to start Thursday.
They do. We'll see what it looks like and what they can do. Man, Brook Lopez cooking a little bit here. All right, let's go to Twitter here. See what Twitter has to say. Young City says better coaching effort of the year, and basically lost by 20. Are you serious? Okay, yeah.
too, man. They get buckets. I don't know when you started watching basketball. That shit sounded like you did it last week. Like, what you be watching? Normally you watching Doc like this. Doc was animated into the game the entire time.
He was. My only question is, I don't know why I didn't see it. I thought it was odd how animated Doc was tonight, and I was like, I know, I would have loved to see that when, back when we were closer to 500, when we were battling with Giannis. I thought, again, I agree tonight. He was definitely a little more testy and fiery tonight with the officials. Let's go to Twitter. @Sunk345 says Doc sees the vision of Tank, plays zone defense against a team that eats it up. Inexplicably plays Sims over Pete Nance, one step closer to getting AJ. How you say his last name? Diabate?
Is that him?
What? How you say his last name?
Devanza?
Yeah. Not Diabate. Debanza. Okay. AJ Debanza, Cam Boozer, or Caleb Wilson, one step closer to him getting fired. I see you, Doc. Way to Tank. @JR Horva says, after watching this game, there's no doubt we have to keep Giannis. With the right moves and a high-quality draft pick, we can get back quickly. They will be totally irrelevant without 34. Doesn't take forever to retool. You can rebuild around Rollins, Turner, and Giannis. Again, I do agree when you talk about it. Listen, for all of you who want to, trade Giannis, that's the product. What you saw tonight, getting your ass whooped, that's the Bucks without Giannis. So again, be prepared to watch that if you trade Giannis. Gaber MJ32 says, as much as I want to see Glenn fired, we have to remember how much that loser is connected to the media. He would definitely open the floodgates if fired. So he's saying that Doc Rivers, if he was fired, would basically trash the organization. Is that what he's getting at here? NYC Randy, but he did go at. Remember, that was before he got fired. He went after. Remember about the Ben Simmons, and he kind of threw him under the bus. So I mean, yeah, Doc Rivers. And I didn't. I wasn't mad at his comments earlier today either about the. Like you said, Justin, with the saying that Joel Embiid was more talented. Again, it's the word talented. Doesn't mean Giannis is the works. And I would agree. Like Joel Embiid is, as if you just put talent in a vacuum, Joel Embiid probably is more talented than Giannis. Giannis is the better player. He works harder, more durable, more dominant, all that.
The only reservation I have about tanking, though, and even trading Giannis, is as much as we know that Horst can cook from making trades, and he has a much higher, I would say, hit rate with trades than he does with draft picks. Is there a chance we could end up being Charlotte?
Of course.
And that's exactly my thing. Is there a chance that we could just end up being one of these teams that are just eternally in the back of the pack, and it's like, damn, we end up being Washington, we just end up being a team where it's like, yeah, tank, draft pick, and rebuild, okay, but then none of those picks work out, or they get hurt, or something happens, or we take somebody 10th overall, and he's in the G League in a year. It's just like, it's one of those things where that's the only thing that gives me pause about this approach, is that it's not like you got a guy who is known to be a drafter, who's known to get it right. And we can make the argument that, if he's picking higher in the draft, he'll do better. This man left guys like Terrence Shannon on the board. I mean, it doesn't like he's made mistakes where he's drafting. There's been quality players on the board even when he's been drafting in the 20th. So how do we trust that he's not going to screw this up if he's picking 10th, right? Like, we just got to really think about this as to, if we get all these picks and we tank and we become an attractive job for a coach. But if Horst is still the guy cooking and picking, and Justin, I get it, he's done some good things, from a trades and acquisitions, signings and acquisitions here. But if he's still the guy picking, guys, it's a hell of a lot of trust to trust that he's going to pick a guy that's going to come in and be that impact player. What if he's picking a guy 10th overall and he's just a guy? And now you don't have Giannis, I mean, I don't know. I have a little bit of pause about that. But again, we may not have a choice if Giannis wants to go.
Well, the good thing we're working with is that G League Ignite is disbanded, so he will not be taking anybody from the Ignite. Most of those guys have been busts.
Is it now called the SEC?
Maybe.
Everybody going back to school now. The G League. Everybody going back to college now. Like things in the G League for a little bit. All right. Well.
Yeah. Clayton Landon says Charlotte is better right now. I don't think that was JT's point. I think his point was so the Bucks. This is the first time the Bucks have missed the playoffs in a decade. If they missed the playoffs, I'm Justin looking. Hold on, he missed it yet. This is Charlotte hasn't been to the playoffs for basically a decade. So that's that's what we're talking about here from an organizational standpoint. A couple more on Twitter here. At eRyan99 says got beat by 14 without Giannis, down 14 damn near the whole game. It's okay though. At least they play harder. We should all be done kidding ourselves with this team. MKE Bucks 91 says Rollins plays so much better when he's allowed to get downhill and attack. Turner benefits. Giannis' strength now is in a slower, methodical half-court game as he does not have the youth to handle up and down play with his injuries. This is a major issue the team has to solve. And then lastly, J. Phil in Texas says simply more ass than a 2 Live Crew video. All right, let's do it. Game balls tonight. Game balls in a 139-122 loss to the Philadelphia 76ers. Where are you going, game ball? All right, I'll start. Game ball for me is going. I'm gonna go Paul George.
Oh, come on. Come on. You're not gonna give it to that brother Myles Turner.
Oh no, you got to win to get in. 32, 5 and 5, 2 steals, 11 for 21, 9 of 15 from 3. That's what we want from AJ Green, 9 of 15 from 3. Paul George giving it to you tonight. So Paul George is gonna get my game ball. Paul George, a.k.a. PG-13, a.k.a. don't forget about me, a.k.a. I'm still in the league, a.k.a. my knee ain't broke no more.
You forgot my favorite a.k.a. with him.
What's that?
You want to sing it for me? I'm in love with a stripper. She got it.
Oh, what? He got it. I don't know. Who
I don't
know. Oh, did he? I have no clue.
Why? You ain't read the story about Paul George?
I just don't remember.
Bruh, it's one of those like cautionary tales for athletes. Like, oh man, everything all the OGs tell you not to do this, man.
He out there like PJ Washington.
Brother, listen, man. Let me send you a link to Paul George and his girl and how they got together. Don't do it like PG, man. Let me.
Anybody else?
I go. I didn't know if JT was going or if he's looking up the joints. I think you got a good case with Paul George. Like Reggie Miller said, though, it should be AKA PG8 now. I looked at Embiid too. Embiid's a good way, but I hate giving it to the other team, win or lose. So I'm torn between Myles and I'm torn between Kuz because I thought Kuz played amazing, but I got to go Myles tonight, man. His best game as a Buck, 31. I saw the brother out there actually rebounding, blocking shots, bodying up Embiid, just playing good.
He only had 4 rebounds, and you saw him rebounding. Sorry.
Hey, 4 rebounds is a lot for that brother. That's what I bet on the parlay, too. 4 for that brother. But he down there getting active, man. And he really, everyone talks about how soft Myles is, but then you watch that other joker for the other team, man. And one thing about Myles I like about him, he ain't flopping all around like a fish out of water. So, AKA, I was the biggest Buck tonight. AKA, Moesha's dead. AKA, putting the NBA on notice. AKA, I'm carrying us to a play-in team.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. All right, I'll go Myles Turner. I mean, where was this all season? Where was the volume? Where was the 18 shots? Where was the efficiency? Where has this been? Because if we got that version, I mean, we'd probably be in a much better spot this year. I mean, even those games where Giannis missed early on in the season, did not see anywhere remotely close to this. So it's just unfortunate that it took so long to show up, but it did, and I'll give him his credit. Myles Turner, a.k.a. Global Executive Media Burner, a.k.a. That might be him. That might be
Y'all think that's really him?
No, it's not. No, definitely not. That's all I got.
Nah, you know what though? Credit given to him. Myles Turner, man, heck of a night, and I like the way he came out. Especially in that first half. Got to give it to him, and I'm looking forward to seeing this. Hopefully, you're seeing this next game. The next game, he keeps coming out, keeps feeling confident like this. Somebody's got to put this team on their back tonight. A lot of guys help carry the weight. Let me say that because I know if I say that other word, y'all gonna clown me. But yeah, I mean, great night for Myles Turner. Again, very happy with how he played tonight. Let's hope he can continue to string this together too for everyone who y'all have already gone over this. But 31, 4 for 8 from the 3-point line, 7 or 8 from the free throw line, 10 for 16 from the field, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal. Myles Turner, ladies and gentlemen, a.k.a. I bet it's a whole lot of y'all that want to do my hair now. AKA, I can play with Legos and get buckets. AKA, I don't really miss Indy. AKA, find me at the Red Snapper. AKA, might be good as some weed queen. Myles Turner, ladies and gentlemen, gets my game ball.
All right, that's good. Good AKAs there.
I'm serious. I bet a whole lot of women want to play in your hair when you drop a 34. Hey, come on now.
Oh man, you killing me, man.
Yes, sir.
You don't need no ad days with JT with the AKs. You can just
He's a clown, bro. That's funny. All right. Let's look around the league tonight. Clippers are up 86-82 over the Jazz, about to head into the fourth quarter on the cock. Wizards up. Wizards beat the Blazers tonight. 115-111. I think your boy had a decent night. Let's see. Chris Middleton, 19, 6, and 5 for Chris Middleton. AJ Johnson, DNP CD. Knicks beat the Kings tonight. The Thunder 38-10 beat the Pelicans. Pistons 109-107 over the Denver Nuggets. Suns beat the Nets. That rounds it off for the evening. Bucks play the Wizards Thursday night on Prime. So we'll see what happens there. Elsewhere around the league, or not around the league, but just looking around. I guess what I'll start with is there's been a lot of talk about what happened in Minneapolis the other day. You saw a game canceled, or at least postponed, if you will. I forgot who Minneapolis was playing, or Minnesota. I forgot who they were playing. Who they're playing? Golden State. Yep, they were playing. That's right. They were playing Golden State. That game got postponed, and I think it did get played the next day. But there's a lot. This is the only thing I'll go with that. I'm gonna get a tragic incident. And state of our country is insane with some of the things that are going on. But here's where I go with this. The point I'm making here. Listen, what I hate is people looking at 23, 24, 25, 26-year-olds for answers and looking for, and again, if guys want to, I saw Wemby made a statement today. I saw, I believe Jaylen Brown has made statements. There are a number of guys in the NBA. The NBA Player Association made a statement. Number of guys have made statements on this issue and multiple other issues and incidents, and that's fine. But what I want people to do, or this is my thought, again, I really don't think it's fair that we are, because here's the thing, you really don't want their opinion. You don't want, like a lot, they don't want their opinion. You want their opinion as long as it matches yours. Because if they say something that you don't like, you would then go after them for an opinion that you think is incorrect. So you don't really want their opinion. You want them to appease your own thoughts or to give the same points that you give, to be in that think tank. And whether it's right or wrong, it's fine. But I'm just saying, I don't, and again, other point I make on it is they're all, again, we ask it from the NBA guys and we ask from the NFL guys. Never ask it from MLB. You're never asking from NHL. You're never asking it from other leagues. Again, if you really want to talk about a stance or a statement, aren't the Winter Olympics coming up? Tell the USA athletes to back out of that. Oh, but you don't go. Those aren't that. To me, that'd be a more profound statement. Winter Olympics are coming up, right? That'd be a profound statement if they backed out and didn't. You want to tell me that something, but not playing a game here. What is that? They played the next day. You're not stopping anything. Whether Anthony Edwards makes a statement or not, it's not changing nothing. And I think the difference. 2 more points. Sorry. The difference is we've become a society where if you put it on if you've made a statement on Twitter, woo, that you believe you've done something. And that's not, it's the same thing with these people who, I hate KPJ so much, I gotta tell you how bad of a person he is. You still watch the team. So you didn't do it. You're not stopping him from being in the league. You just feel better about yourself because you said something. So so that point, and then 2, again, these are millionaire athletes. You want to talk about change? Why are you not asking for billionaire owners? Mark Lore owns the Minnesota Timberwolves. Why? That's the guy you should be looking at for a statement, not Anthony. Anthony Edwards, he don't even want to pay for his kids. The hell you think he's thinking about a damn anything going? He don't give a damn about his own kids. And you think he care what's going? Again, I'm just saying that my point. That's not the guy. I don't care what he's talking. Again, if he has a statement, if he has an opinion, cool. But I don't move based upon what he's thinking. And I promise this last point. Last point. Again, and again, I get it. There's a long history of athletes who make statement. Muhammad Ali. You go down the line of athletes that have Kareem that have been prominent in the landscape and just in the atmosphere for different social events and part of different movements. But it seems now, but they were not afterthoughts, but they were there, but they weren't the ones always leading the charge. When I think of the leaders of the civil rights of some of these movements, where are the Martin Luther King, guy we just honored, Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton? Why is it now athletes are bust or celebrities are bust? That's where we are now, where it's got to be a celebrity who says it, or else it doesn't matter. Where are these people who are, again, Jamal Bryant? There are people out there that are doing the work. People you should be asking are your representatives. Obama made statements. Those are the people who you should be looking towards to make statements about issues as prominent and as important as these. I promise you, Anthony Edwards talking about it is not moving the needle. And again, I've seen some of the stuff he talks about. Listen, if you're not informed or you don't want to talk, I'm good off. I'm just saying I'm good off of it. I really just wish people would not try to force or back these guys into a corner where they got to say something. Where I can't stand that, man. Sorry, I'm on a soapbox, but that's my thought on that, man.
So I think there's a little bit, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think there's a more analysis to how we got here. Right? When you talk about, and I want to correct something. You said there's this expectation of athletes. Let's be real here. There's this expectation of Black athletes to speak.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And where does this expectation come from? Well, it comes from history. In the 60s, when you had Jackie Robinson speaking out, you had Muhammad Ali, you had Bill Russell, you had Lou Alcindor. There's a whole laundry list of guys you can go down who spoke out in the 60s because of the collective struggle of the civil rights movement. Everything applied to basically everybody. Because even if you were Jackie Robinson, even if you still were subjected to the same discrimination that everybody else Black was. You still couldn't eat at the same restaurant here in the Jim Crow town. You still could not do that. So that's kind of where the history comes from, of Black athletes speaking out and using their platform, because everybody was in the same boat. But that's 60 years ago. There's a completely the collective struggle now, and you see that with certain issues of George Floyd 2020, you started to see that people took on that. And, I think athletes, the people that wanted to speak on it did, and they had that option to do so. They were not obligated to, or they were not necessarily, the weird expectation was a bit different. On the flip side, though, you do have some athletes, I don't know when this started, that want to say I'm more than an athlete. They want to talk about business. They want to talk about politics. They want to talk about news. They want to cover this. They put themselves out there. So sometimes I think it's like you expect them because some of them comment on any and everything, and it's their right. They certainly have the ability to do that. Where I agree with you is where I think it's bogus is looking to athletes who don't speak on that and trying to like force them to corner them into expectations. Well, why is he not saying it? Wait a minute, hold on. That makes no sense. I agree. Anthony Edwards, I don't expect Anthony Edwards to really do much, right? I mean, 28-9, I think is the best you can get with Anthony Edwards. That's what I expect Anthony Edwards to do. I don't think he does give a damn about much. And you're right. He don't care about his kids. He don't care about this. I really don't know how much he cares about Timberwolves, to be honest. I think he just checks the cash. But I think that's kind of where the disconnect is, though, is running around and shoving a microphone in somebody's face who doesn't speak on this stuff anyway. Why? You have plenty of guys who do. The second part is I agree with you. It's so much. That's where athletes get told stick to sports. People who get told stick to sports because they get told that because they don't agree with how you feel, how somebody else feels. Because I guarantee you, if they said something here, that's a great American, right? If it was there. That's not how this thing works. The third point I'm going to make, though, and here's the thing. Guys like LeBron James, they can speak on anything and everything because they have no risk. It's never going to hurt their bottom line. You can't cancel LeBron James. LeBron James is going to have billions of dollars regardless, so it doesn't matter. He can get out and say any and everything that he wants to. There's no risk. Some of these guys, you're a younger guy, you're up and coming. Do I really want to go ahead and speak on this right now? Do I not want to do this? Man, I'm trying to get this contract. I'm trying to do that. They're maybe not in the position to do that. Perfect example. Think about your boy. This is a long time ago. Y'all know who Craig Hodges is?
Absolutely.
We do now, but literally before the last few years, how many people forgot about Craig Hodges? You know what I mean? Like he went ahead and ruined and lost any and everything in the world, and now you lost everything. You can't have no what impact does Craig Hodges have now? People got to Google, that's who that was here. You probably would be better off building yourself up, having a bigger platform anyway, and then eventually if you want to speak out, okay, fine, but expecting just these random guys to come, he needs to comment. It's like Dave Chappelle had that skit. You remember 9/11 happened? He's like, where's John? Ooh, we got John.
Where's John?
Right? Like, who wants this? It's silly. It makes absolutely no sense. But, hey, for the guys who did want to put themselves out there, here's what I will say. When you take a stance on something socially, now you're picking a side. Everybody loves people that they don't think about that are ambiguous. You have no idea. They just get out there and say some feel-good content too. People take sides against people who do take stands on things socially, whatever side you're on. So you put yourself out there, you certainly have to be ready for any blowback thereof or any support that you get, right? What you can't do is make a statement and then hide. And then say, why are they always trying to talk about, why people always trying to put stuff in my mouth? If you are going to take that step, you got to stand by it and you got to stand on it.
Yeah, to me, I think it's just insane that they feel like the media members feel like these guys are obligated to make statements on world issues when in reality, the normal athlete going up from high school to college, I guarantee most of their free time is not spent on looking at the state of the world. Before they get to 18, they can't even vote. And then to shortly thereafter, after they've worked all their lives focusing on getting to where they want to be, now it's the time to just ask them about what's going on in the United States. I think it's stupid. I think, if you want to make a statement, cool. Again, like you said, Trey, but you're not entitled to or obligated to make a statement on what's going on. I think it's just stupid, and I agree with you, Trey.
Now, I will add this. I know Justin's about to go, but I will add this. If you really want statements and impact, be hitting these CEOs up. I'd be in these owners' faces.
Right.
Hey,
People.
Owner, hey, Mr. Owner, you represent your Timberwolves. This is going on outside your stadium. What's up with it, right? And I would be holding these owners' feet to the fire. All these big companies in Minnesota, Target, 3M, you name it. Man, every day, y'all commenting on this. You seeing this go down? You cool with this? Like, what's up? Like, that's who you really press. But pressing the 23 and 24-year-old, listen, man, I love athletes. Half these dudes ain't go to class, ain't do nothing. They Twitter feeds is what man, 2 Live Crew video remix, right. Whatever that is, right? Booty shaking and whatever, and bad rap, right? That's most of these guys probably X feeds anyway. Why? I don't feel like there's fulfillment from getting a comment from Anthony Edwards, right? Like I just think we can look at a lot of different places. I really do. I think we can look at a lot of different places.
I've just never watched Giannis play and thought, man, I wonder what his feelings are on Gaza. I've never thought it. I've literally never had that thought. Sorry, Dustin.
But he did speak. He did show solidarity for the Jacob Blake thing back in the bubble and stuff like that. So I don't have a lot.
Which is his right. Yeah, you're totally. If you want to do it, yeah, totally, you're right to do it. I'm just saying, I'm not. Why haven't I heard a statement?
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, I think that the only thing I said, I don't have a whole lot, is like you gentlemen mentioned, look to the owners. You can also look to the coaches. But the thing is, man, you just have to be, if you're going to ask these questions, you have to be welcoming to the response, no matter which size it comes from. And you should not crucify someone if the response is different than yours. Kind of think that's what you were alluding to, JT. Another guy that spoke out a lot, you mentioned Craig Hodges, went to the White House in the dashiki. Chris Jackson, now known as Muhammad Abdul-Rauf. Whole career was ended by that. So, not to get all into that, but look, I don't know where you stand. I know there's some people in Minnesota that lost their lives. I know there's some people that have lost their lives through this country that should still be here on this earth. My hearts and prayers goes out to them. It goes out to the folks in the state of Minnesota and to the entire country, man. Because like you said, Trey, I mean, because you brought gentlemen already did a great job. I mean, that's why you brothers go to law school. That's why Chris King, the next one up to go to law school, because I don't even say nothing else. But what I am going to say is that, Trey, you did make a good point. It's a scary time what we're living in right now. And I give you the whole we are the world, pray for peace.
Listen, I think I do. I will say this. I don't think this is going away. I think the intersection of sports and politics, we've been talking about this. I mean, they are interconnected at this point, and you're going to see that. You've got the Super Bowl. You've got ICE that's going to be at the Super Bowl, and now they're publicizing this. They're talking about ICE doing these checks, and I'm not sure if this is a common thing where ICE. I know Homeland Security is frequently at these events. I do know that. Like, I think helping with security. But now you have ICE going to be in the Super Bowl. You have ICE supposed to be. This was a bit strange to me, but they're providing security for the Olympic athletes in, I believe, Italy in is it Milan? Is that where the Winter Olympics are?
I think so.
You've got this. You have. I mean, this is not going anywhere. There's no. People talk about. I mean, listen. This is becoming quickly a part of sports. Especially, you have a president who's highly engaged in sports now. There's a lot. This is not. The line does to an extent get blurred. And I think the reality though is that, like you guys have said, if you're going to start asking athletes, you got to be comfortable with those answers. And when everybody found out that Patrick Mahomes and there's a whole slew of folks, Max Crop, all these other people were supporting the current president in the election, people were aghast. And it's like, why? You don't know these people. We don't know. Everybody votes for their own interest. They have clearly seen something that they think is going to benefit them. That's why they're doing that. I don't have these expectations of, oh, my QB needs to be this, my QB needs to vote that way. No, my QB needs to find a way to throw the ball on third down. He needs to go ahead and take the damn check down when it's there. My QB needs to keep the damn chains moving. Like I don't go to athletes to look for this analysis. Then having said that, the people who put it out there and give you well thought out analysis and something that you like, by all means, but to go ahead and try to say, yeah, hey, Michael Conley, yeah, you're a great guy to talk about this. Michael Conley, let's talk about like what? I don't understand that thought process. But my last point is this is out of control. This is crazy. This makes absolutely no sense. You have got to have some sort of precision in doing this. I think most people conceptually kind of get it with the removing and following the law here, but this stuff that we're seeing here is completely unacceptable. It is lawlessness, and you cannot break laws trying to hold people accountable for breaking laws, right? That makes absolutely no sense. You cannot have that, and hopefully they get a handle on it, because right now, these last couple of months have been very scary times for folks with darker skin shades in America.
Yeah, no, 100%. This comment from James Morris cracks to me. Giannis can hardly speak English well, so I'd rather not listen to him much. That's a crazy comment to me. I totally. There are not enough things I can say about how terrible I think that comment is. Which, by the way, that's an insane comment because Giannis, again, I hate all this kind of stuff. Oh, he can't speak it. And they say this about a lot of guys. He speaks more languages than I'm gonna go ahead and take an assumption. I bet you don't speak multiple languages. I know I don't. So anybody, if you can give bro, I can't speak hardly bro. I can't even give you a coherent hola audio. That's all. I can give you a couple words in Spanish. But for a guy that came here, it wasn't like he was born into. He came here at 18 or whatever it was, and can speak the language well. Come on, dog. He just speaks with an accent. But to say that he speaks with an accent. He can't hardly speak English. That's just a lie. He hardly speak English. Giannis literally does interviews he has an accent. I wouldn't. That's a false statement that he can hardly speak English. It's incorrect.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm hearing everything y'all saying loud and clear.
Where's Cleese? I heard him say that.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's a James. He comments a lot. That was a bad one. That was a bad one. No Stray says as a player you got to ask yourself.
Yeah, you put me in.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think he articulates his thoughts well, but you put me in the DR, I might go crazy with that Spanish. Just saying.
Yeah. So and James says okay. He says I can do Spanish at a time. I bet you don't speak it like the native speakers. I bet money you don't. But good on your Italian. Okay. No Strays says as a player, you gotta ask yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? Because you can't do both. I don't. But again, even that, like, you gotta ask yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to be rich? I mean, again, a lot of guys can do both. And again, I don't know. You say, do you want to be right? Do you want to be? I don't know that. I don't. But I don't know that. I don't know that not speaking out about things doesn't necessarily make you not right. I disagree with that sentiment as well.
That's going back to JT.
Go ahead.
He's support about Craig Hodges. I'm sorry. I think he's right to an extent because there's certain things and that's kind of what JT was alluding to with LeBron can say and do different things because he has that billionaire bank account behind him. And you look at a guy like Giannis or you look at a guy like Kobe or even people that are more, there's just some people in this world like to kind of go back and go to the other side. Damn, I'm waffling. Like Greg Popovich, he's just going to tell you what he feels and doesn't care. I kind of see the point, though. Go ahead, JT. Sorry.
No, you're right. But I was going to say the other side to that, too, though, with athletes as well, though, is there's a skill level, too. Because LeBron, Steph, they get out there, they literally can say anything. They literally could be like, hey, get this dude impeached tomorrow, get him out here. Our leaders need to go ahead. They can go full on nuclear up there, and guess what? People gonna deal with it. People gonna deal with it. Like Lamar Jackson, another one. He can get up there and say whatever, right? Lamar Jackson supported Trump. Everybody in Baltimore was like, what? And guess what? They got over it. They like Lamar Jackson. He's good. So some of these guys who have this talent that transcends everything, man, they're good. They can do that. But you're not going to be the third quarterback kicking over dust and bringing a distraction and saying all this other stuff too. Wait, hold on. You can't be the guy bouncing back and forth to the roster here talking about we need to be doing this. Yeah, they need to impeach her. What? Like, and you bringing this in, especially depending on where you at. No, that's not how this thing works. You can't do that. Again, I hate to say it, but sports and life, talent transcends everything. If you're that guy, yes, you can do that. If you got it there. But if you're the 7th round pick and now you out here with the black glove on and the fist pick and doing all that, brother, that might be short-lived at some point.
Exactly, just how no Stray says it. Ask Colin Kaepernick how it right. When you're no longer that guy, it don't work for you. Last thing I want to get at, I do want to talk about is the Bill Belichick not making the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. He'll get in. A lot of people saying Bill Polian was the one who made sure he led the charge. It's funny because Bill Polian then came out immediately and said, I voted for him. And now he's backtracked that and said he's 95% sure that he voted for him. So he's back there a little bit. But you know what's crazy? When I first heard, I'm telling you, and I'm not joking. I know I can be a contrarian at times. I'm not mad if Spygate is what holds. I'm not mad that he's gonna get. Listen, it's not the same as Barry Bonds not getting into the Baseball Hall of Fame. That is a travesty that Barry Bonds is not in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Bill Belichick's gonna get in. You're just not gonna be able. This is your penalty for Spygate and Deflategate. And I saw some people saying, "Well, what about Tom Brady?" Like, remember, Paul Tagliabue already adjudicated this when he did Bountygate and was the special, the special. I'm gonna call him special prosecutor, but he was the
Was he the arbiter over that?
He was the arbitrator on Bountygate, and he basically held that players are not, because again, if you remember in Bountygate, Vilma, there were like 4 or 5 guys that got suspended as well as front office and Sean Payton and some of those assistant coaches. Tagliabue reversed that and said, no, we're not going to hold the players accountable. When you have issues like this is going to be a coaches and up thing, front office, ownership, coaches. So this is what they call it in NCAA, lack of institutional control. That's what Bill Belichick had. And again, is it petty? I'll agree. Yeah, it's petty. It might be petty. But I think that's a small price to pay. Not being the first. He will get in. He should get in. No question. We know what Bill Belichick means to the game of football. But I'm not. I think a lot of people, to me, is performative. In my opinion, I'm not. Oh my God, people about to burn down the halls of Canton because Bill Belichick's not first ballot Hall of Famer. Shouldn't have cheated.
It's embarrassing that he did not make it in on the first ballot. It really is. He is arguably the best you've ever produced. I say that arguably because yes, you've got some others that you may throw out there too. But the reality of it is that it doesn't surprise me. One, Bill Polian. Let me tell you about Bill Polian. Bill shaking ass Polian. This dude, Bill Polian. For those of y'all who are new to this thing or a little bit younger. So Bill Polian's rise to fame came from Buffalo Bills. Remember, they went to 4 straight Super Bowls, lost all of them. But building that team, building that juggernaut, having Andre Rison, having the whole Andre Reed, so all those guys out there. I'm sorry, Andre Reed. Having these guys out there balling. I think Andre Rison did play for Buffalo for a year or two. Anyway, I can double check that. But Bill Polian did that. Then he gets to Indianapolis and he builds that Colts dynasty, which I still feel like wasn't really a dynasty. I feel like they underachieved in the playoffs. Yes, they were, I think they ended up going to 2 Super Bowls during his tenure, but that Colts team just had numerous different opportunities. I mean, it was nothing for them to win 13 and then get in the playoffs and crap in the bed to either Pittsburgh or New England. But, again, Bill Polian, he always gets in over his head, right? He eventually starts drafting guys like Joseph Adai and Donald Brown. I'm like, who the hell are these guys, right? Guys who first-round picks just whiffing left and right. Because, again, Bill Polian does things that doesn't make sense, and it works for a while, and then when it doesn't, it's really bad. I had to get that off my chest. Y'all can tell I still feel a way about Bill Polian. Because he also said Lamar Jackson should be a wide receiver. So, we started muting his mic after he said that. But for Bill Polian to, if he voted against him, it wouldn't surprise me. But I think the Spygate and the Deflategate, yes, those were bad. Those were black eyes. Deflategate, what did he get fined or Spygate, he got fined $500,000, something like that. It was one of the biggest fines in NFL history. It was crazy. What Bill Belichick went through. Having said that, that man is deserving of a first ballot Hall of Fame. I get the controversy, I do, but the performance far outweighed that. And he'll get in probably next year. But it just goes to show you, too, that, this happens to players all the time, too. This happens to players all the time. We say, how the hell does this guy not get in? Wait, he didn't get in? What you mean he not get in? There's been numerous different guys who should have been in on the first ballot. They don't get into the third and fourth. So it just shows that that's happening with coaches, too. And, shout out to Bill, man, because I bet Bill's in a cheerleading competition right now, so don't say about this. Yeah. I mean, what? Are you serious? I'm serious. He probably really is at a cheerleading competition right now. He ain't worried about this. Okay. I got Jordan Hudson, baby. I got Jordan Hudson. about this. I'm good.
I just think
He's
even
73 years old, having more fun than most.
even through Spygate and Deflategate, 8-time Super Bowl champion, right? Like, you got to be first ballot. That's crazy to me. I think he should have been first ballot, but he'll get in again. So, I mean, it is what it is. Let's see if he can reinforce that at a college level, though. Let's see if he can actually do something at North Carolina.
So no strays. It's LOMBARDI. And no, the trophy should not be renamed to the damn Belichick trophy. But you think of 3 names when you think of football. You think of Vince Lombardi, you think of Nick Saban on a collegiate level, and you think of Bill Belichick.
Oh, you don't think of John Madden?
Great video game.
Wow,
Great
that's
game.
crazy. Go ahead.
I mean,
think of 8 years of winning. We talking about winning.
winning.
We talking about the pedigree of winning, the definition of winning. Sorry. Madden took him 8 years to win his first one. Madden was a phenomenal coach, but he's not in the level that where Saban, Lombardi, and Belichick are. They're the gold standard of winning. They change the entire.
Can Chuck Noll get there? Can he get on that? Can he stand? Can he got room on the table to stand on there?
You gotta be 5 or more, dog. You gotta be 5 or more, dog. Chuck Noll's a great coach too. But I'm just saying, any one of these coaches that we just mentioned, Madden, Chuck Noll, Tomlin, all these other guys are first ballot Hall of Famers. And then you don't have the most winningest guy there because of some stupid scandal stuff. Look, if he deflated those balls, you still ain't stop him. And if he cheated and he saw it, there's guys that have had whole playbooks and you still can't stop him. Bill Belichick, I hate to say it, man, because I hated him. I hated Tom Brady. I hated those Patriots. But for everybody that's affiliated with that team that are the upper brass of that team, and not only was he the damn coach, he's a general manager too. It's just no excuse. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. It had me pissed off. It will be interesting to see what these Tar Heels do this year. I'm kind of tuned in. Maybe he has a chip on his shoulder too.
Yeah, it'll be it'll definitely be interesting. I don't think he'll do it on the Tar Heels, but we'll see. But he will get. I didn't realize Terrell Owens was in the first ballot Hall of Fame either. That's a travesty in itself too. Yeah, I remember I remember Terrell Owens. Matter of fact, Terrell Owens didn't go to Canton, and didn't he do like his own little ceremonies
He did do it at like Tennessee, Chattanooga.
Tennessee, yeah. He went to Tennessee, Chattanooga. Yeah, I think he did his own thing in East Tennessee, Chattanooga, wherever that schools. Yeah,
he was in his feelings.
Yeah.
No, but I think when I think Bill Belichick, that's one of the best coaches in the history of professional team sports in America. That's how you have to look at that. You have to give him that level of respect. He is one of the guys like Bill Belichick, Greg Popovich. It feels weird to say it, Steve Kerr, Phil Jackson, or maybe
Steve Kerr is not on a level of Phil and Pop.
But Phil Jackson, Bill Belichick. There's a Mount Rushmore. You said what?
Red Auerbach.
Maybe even Joe Torre you put up there. If there's a Mount Rushmore of North American sports, these are guys who are legends for North American team sports. Their performance has transcended their leagues, and you just want to give them that respect. I mean, that should have been what they said. The Peyton Manning to get him in was like 18 seconds. So like what they said it was like 16 seconds to vote, and some of that time was reading the name and the accomplishments. I mean, that should have been the same thing for Bill. And I can't believe I'm saying that as a Colts fan because he's a Patriots guy, but it is what it is. You got to put and keep some respect on his name as much as he tries to get us to disrespect his name, what he's doing in college.
Yeah, it was. Like I said, he will get in. James Morrison, do you think Eric Spoelstra will get in? Everybody gets in the basketball Hall of Fame. So yeah, he definitely will. Anything? It's 12:27 on the East Coast. Anything else anybody wants to get at before we take this to a close and wrap for the evening?
They're gonna have to expand that joining downtown Springfield soon, man. I went up there. It's big. It's not much room there, man.
I do have this question though for you guys, right? And I'm gonna open this up. I'll open this up to the chat too. So you have 2 quarterbacks playing this week in the Super Bowl next weekend. You got Sam Darnold and you got Drake May. And Sam Darnold is complicated with Sam Darnold, right? The same guy, I'm seeing ghosts, the same guy, right? And like kind of stunk it up, bounced around, Carolina roster. You know, he was on Carolina. Y'all had him and Baker in the building, Trey. And so then now you see him in Seattle and you see him going to the Super Bowl and leading his team. Sam Darnold was balling in the playoff game. He played well in both playoff games. You have a guy like Drake May who, you know, is emerging. The next thing is very talented.
He was ass.
And I was getting there. He's a very talented guy. He has made plays all year. He's done everything, but he has looked a bit underwhelming in the playoffs at this point. I know we're going to touch on this next week too, but if Sam Darnold wins, does it change your thought and your ranking of him as an NFL QB?
Nope.
And here's the next question though. If Drake May wins after seeing how he stunk in the playoffs and everything else too, does it change your ranking of where you put Drake May in the NFL QB?
I'll answer that. It's a good question, JT.
We'll touch on this next week too.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have plenty of time for it. But yeah, real quick, yes, for Drake May, because Drake again, yes for Drake May if but it depends on what he does after. Because what it's looking like for me right now is we're in one-off category where this is looking like those one-off categories where, and it happens every 15 years or so, 10, 15 years, where a quarterback that probably don't deserve it or that's not one of the upper echelon guys gets a Super Bowl win. And you look at for the Patriots, it's the route that they took. Someone had a hilarious. They went down the list of teams they beat, and like half of New England's wins, maybe more. The coaches got fired. Like look, the teams they beat, fired. NFC South, fired. So I mean, they had a lot of that. That's how that went. And then you look at Seattle, and again, the Seattle defense is great. Now again, Sam Darnold is playing out of his mind. Let me ask you this: does your opinion of Joe Flacco really change after they won a Super Bowl? It was a hell of a run that he went on, but Joe Flacco was just Joe Flacco for the rest of his career, and so I think it's a good quarterback that won. Joe Flacco ended up being a good quarterback that won a Super Bowl. That's what he is. That's what he ended up being. And I don't think that's what I look at unless Sam Darnold, if he wins, takes this and and you come back the next year and you wow, okay, it is different. If not, then he's Flacco with a ring.
But Joe Flacco had a lot of pedestrian seasons, as does Sam Darnold.
Right.
Too.
Yes.
But I would say that Sam Darnold has put together. Sam Darnold has a chance to where, if you look at his body, you look at how he played last year, you look at his stats and the numbers. That's the thing about Joe Flacco. Some of his seasons are very underwhelming from a statistics perspective from a team that was making deep runs like that. Sam Darnold, when you look at his last two seasons, you put together a couple more. Okay, yeah, and you put a Super Bowl ring in there too. I mean, I think it changes the opinion of Sam Darnold, because we talked about it. We talked about this for a while. Like, you have guys who are franchise guys, you have guys who are starting quarterbacks, right? So starting quarterbacks in the NFL. You remember this conversation? This is a long time. Franchise quarterbacks in the NFL. And I can't remember who else said this too. So a franchise guy is your Patrick Mahomes, your Josh Allen, your Lamar Jackson, right? But your starting quarterback would be a guy like Brock Purdy. He's not really a franchise, but he's your starter, and he's going to be hard to upgrade. You know, Dak Prescott.
And Brock Purdy was a stone's throw away from winning the title. From winning that's the same level.
But when it comes to Brock Purdy, even though he was a stone's throw, even though he's done all that, if he's in the top,
he didn't win it.
And that's what I'm saying. But if he's in the top 10, it ain't higher than 9th or 10th. You see what I'm saying? If you're going to put him as a top 10 guy, and there's nothing he can do to change that, right?
Sam Darnold, if he wins the Super Bowl, where you putting him in front of Lamar, in front of any of the four horsemen, put him in front of Burrow, you put him in front of.
No, I don't think you.
No, he's not in front of Matthew Stafford. You're not putting him in front of any.
You're not
putting him in front of. No, you're tripping.
So
no, you're not.
Burrow becomes an interesting conversation though, because because
No.
JSN becomes the JSN is Sam Darnold's Jamar Chase. It is. That's his version of Jamar Chase.
That's fine, but nobody, no, man.
And Burrow becomes an interesting conversation because Burrow's always hurt. And I think that Burrow, it's like that's the problem with Burrow, though. Burrow is always hurt now. Like
Derek Clay, are you put him in front of Jordan? Is Sam Darnold better than Jordan Love?
You know why I don't put him?
No, okay, right.
And
people barely got Jordan Love top 10. So no, then that means the perception didn't change.
Hey, I think that for Sam Darnold, it's a little different though, because he went from literally rags to riches. He was one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. And last year he went to O'Connell's system in Minnesota. Everyone said, oh, that's just because of O'Connell. And he's found a way to reproduce that season again the next year with Seattle. I think it's an amazing story. But since Daryl brought him up, just by the way, Jordan Love only played one football game. He's still tied for lead in touchdowns in the playoffs right now with 4. Neither one of them dudes got more than 4 that are in the Super Bowl right now. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I think so. Sam Darnold. So where do you put him here? Because I'm looking at Sam Darnold. I'm looking at the last 2 years. If I'm going to rank Sam, I'm looking at this year and last year. Where do you put Sam Darnold? Do you still put him below Baker Mayfield, who's probably not in the 10th, right? Do you put him? Where do you?
But that's around the 10. But again, how many points per game is his defense giving up? So it ain't like he got to go out. His defense giving up what they giving up 15 points a game. So it ain't like he got to go out there. It ain't like he got to go kill everybody.
Talking about Baker?
No, I'm talking about Sam Darnold. I'm talking about Seattle's defense.
No, but Sam is slinging that thing though. You got to get Paul. You got to give him. You got to give Sam. Sam is.
Again, Flacco's slinging. Flacco was slinging it during his Super Bowl run too.
No, I mean maybe during the Super Bowl run, but he wasn't slinging it during the year. That's the difference. Is Flacco? Sam has had 2 years now where he's been slinging. He's had two regular season bodies of work up until his meltdown last year, where you go, wow, this guy looks like he really might be cooking with something here.
I think the hard part to put him in front of Stafford is because that's what I was trying to allude to. The beginning of his career was so bad that Stafford's had the body of work longer. But after you go after like Stafford, I put him right underneath it. All those younger guys. But shout out to Drake May, though, the first quarterback of that draft class to get to the Super Bowl too.
And that looks like it's going to be a very good QB draft class, provided Jaden Daniels stays healthy. You know, I don't know. So basically, I guess where I'm going is after watching all of this happen, has your top 10 changed?
Well, it might, but when let's get out because let's do this another. We could be on here all night. When Chris goes to the 4 box in the bottom, that's his cue for us to wrap this thing up. Yeah, there he goes. There go the bunny telling us it's time. So Chris is telling us we got to get out of here. And I agree. It is 12:36 on the East Coast. So let's put a pin on that one. And we will again. We'll have time. We'll talk about it on Thursday, and then we can get at it. We'll see what happens on obviously in a couple weeks here on the Super Bowl. But good discussion, good conversation. We appreciate it. Again, if you're here with us tonight, could be in the world, but you're here with us watching the sorry ass Bucks get their ass whooped yet again. By this time, by the Philadelphia Sixers, line it up. Don't matter who the opponent is, they're gonna kick our ass. 139-122. Philly beats the Bucks. 18-27 is the record. This thing is bad. We appreciate you guys for sticking in here and staying with us. And we'll be on. We'll be here. We'll be here through the losses, through whatever, through trades. We'll see. This is gonna be an interesting time. Next week, again, the Milwaukee Bucks, the next week in a couple days, they have nothing could happen, or the franchise could go through. I mean, literally, franchise-altering decisions could be made in the next week and some change here. So there are a lot of good storylines. Stay with us. Stick tuned. Stay tuned. Make sure you tell a friend to tell another friend about the Creeps and Girls. It is the best Milwaukee West Coast game show on all the land. Hit that like button, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff for us. Again, it's greatly appreciated. This Cream City Media Group Production. Running Group Treasurer.
JT.
Chris King.
Justin.
If I am your enemy, it's only because I dare to tell you the truth. Don't take no wood nickels. Courage.